Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayed Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 24, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text number 57. Na hi asya janmano hetuhu na hyasya janmano hetuhu karmano va mahipate karmano va mahipate atma mayam vineshasya atmamayam vineshasya parasya drashtur atmanah parasya drashtur atmanah nahyasya janmano hetuhu karmano va mahipate atmamayam vineshasya parasya drashtur atmanah nahyasya janmano hetuhu karmano va mahipate atmamayam vineshasya parasya drashturatmanah nahyasya janmano hetuhu karmano va mahipate atmamayam vineshasya parasya drashturatmanah nahyasya janmano hetuhu karmano va mahipate atmamayam vineshasya parasya drashturatmanah na not he indeed asya of him the Supreme Personality of Godhead janmanaha of the appearance or taking birth hetuhu there is any cause karmanaha or for acting va either mahipate O king Maharaj Parikshit atma mayam his supreme compassion for the fallen souls vina without ishasya of the supreme controller parasya of the personality of Godhead who is beyond the material world drashtuhu of the super soul who witnesses everyone's activities atmanaha of the super soul of everyone. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O King Maharaj Parikshit, but for the Lord's personal desire, there is no cause for his appearance, disappearance, or activities. As the super soul, he knows everything. Consequently, there is no cause that affects him, not even the results of fruitive activities. Please repeat this translation after me. O King, Maharaj Parikshit, but for the Lord's personal desire, there is no cause for his appearance, disappearance, or activities. As the super soul, he knows everything. Consequently, there is no cause that affects him, not even the results of fruitive activities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse points out the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and an ordinary living being. An ordinary living being receives a particular type of body according to his past activities. Karmana daiva netrena jantur deha upapattaye. A living being is never independent and can never appear independently. Rather, one is forced to accept a body imposed upon him by Maya according to his past karma. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 18.61, Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. The body is a kind of machine created and offered to the living entity by the material energy under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the living entity must accept a particular type of body awarded to him by Maya, the material energy, according to his karma. One cannot independently say, give me a body like this or give me a body like that. One must accept whatever body is offered by the Sorry for the interruption. When Krishna descends, however, he does so out of his merciful compassion for the fallen souls. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I advent myself millennium after millennium. The Supreme Lord is not forced to appear. Indeed, no one can subject him to force, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is under his control, and he is not under the control of anyone else. Foolish people who, because of a poor fund of knowledge, think that one can equal Krishna or become Krishna are condemned in every way. No one can equal or surpass Krishna, who is therefore described as Asamaurdhva. According to the Vishwakosha dictionary, The word Maya is used in the sense of false pride and also in the sense of compassion. For an ordinary living being, the body in which he appears is his punishment. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Daivi Shesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But when Krishna comes, the word Maya refers to his compassion or mercy upon the devotees and fallen souls. By his potency, the Lord can deliver everyone, whether sinful or pious. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Galadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Shukadeva Goswami is describing the actual position of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki in the Yadu dynasty, the dynasty descending from originally the moon god. Even though Vaivasvata Manu is in the sun dynasty, somewhere along the line, these two dynasties, sun dynasty and moon dynasty, there was a particular combination of these two dynasties, and the descendants of the Sun dynasty happened to later on come under the Moon dynasty. So that is explained earlier, but Krishna appeared in the Yadu Vamsha, described as belonging to the Moon dynasty, Chandra Vamsha. So Krishna's appearance may look like the appearance of an ordinary human being, but it is never so. So the acharyas, like Shukadeva Goswami, they clarify for us. There is no cause for his appearance, disappearance, or activities other than his own personal desire to do so. He's completely independent. Everyone else is subordinate to him. Nobody else is independent like him. So Srila Prabhupada explains, an ordinary living being of this material world receives a particular type of body according to his past activities. Karmana daivanetrena jantur deha upapattaye. Jantu means a living being, obtains a body exactly according to his past karma. And this is completely supervised by daivanetrena, by the Supreme Lord, who is present in this world as the Super Soul and is directing everyone. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hruddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. Every living being after taking birth is having a particular type of body. Now the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is seated in the heart of every living being's body. And what is he doing? He is directing the wanderings of every living being. That is because the living being is having a body made of material energy. Yantra rudhani mayaya. Maya refers to the material energy. So the yantra, this body, like a machine made up of the material energy, is directed by the super soul, by the Supreme Lord as super soul. Because the material energy itself, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sa Chara Charam. All living beings, whether moving or non-moving, are directed by Krishna through the direction he gives to the material energy. Chayeva yasya bhuvanani bibharti Durga. Durga conducts herself exactly as a shadow conducts itself in accordance with the movement of an object. Same way, Durga Devi also. Exactly according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, she conducts herself. So therefore, everyone's movements are completely controlled by the Supreme Lord, directed by the Supreme Lord. So, we have to accept the body we are given, and our movements also are directed. We are not independent. But when Krishna descends, even though he appears like he descends like an ordinary person, but here it is said that he descends out of his compassion for the fallen souls. Atmamayam. Atmamayam is translated by Prabhupada as his supreme compassion for the fallen souls. Now here is an important point. The word Maya, according to the ISKCON dictionary, can be used in two different senses, two different ways. One is the meaning we ordinarily know. Maya means false pride. But the second meaning, also in the sense of compassion, is given in the ISKCON dictionary. Now, which meaning to apply where? That only an acharya in the parampara system will explain to us the correct meaning which we should apply in each and every statement of the scriptures where this word is used. Because Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Duratyaya. This material energy of mine is very, very difficult to overcome for a living entity who is under the control of this material energy. So, Krishna being the Lord of the material energy never comes under his control. Neither does Krishna come in touch with the material energy when he comes in this material world. He remains aloof. He's completely aloof from the touch of this material energy. That he explains in the Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter, where this verse appears, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Before that verse, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Baye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Only those who surrender to Krishna can surpass the control or influence of the material energy. In the previous verse to this, Krishna says, Tribhir Gunamayair Bhavair Ebis Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam. The whole creation, Jagat, is completely deluded mohitam, by the three gunas, three modes, tribhir gunamayir bhavai. Sarvam idam jagat mohitam. And as a result of this delusion, complete bewilderment, na abhijanati mam, they are unable to understand or know properly what is Krishna's position. And what is Krishna's position? He says in this 13th verse of the 7th chapter, Ebhyaha param avyayam. That means Krishna himself is above the modes and is inexhaustible. See, the modes are limiting us, are controlling us, are deluding us. So Krishna being above the modes, he is not deluded, he is not controlled, he is not limited. So therefore, avyaya, he is inexhaustible. He has unlimited potency. He has unlimited strength. He has unlimited power. Everything unlimited. So he is different. And his appearance is also extraordinary. Even though people may think like he is appearing like an ordinary human being, but his appearance is extraordinary. Just one verse from the 10th canto I'll read. In the 3rd chapter of the 10th canto, where the detailed description of the birth of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki is given, Shukadeva Goswami is describing Tam Adbhutam Balakam Ambujekshanam. It's a very famous verse in this chapter, the most famous verse. Chaturbhujam Shankha Gadadi Udayudham Srivatsa Lakshmam Galashobhi Kaustubham Pitambaram Sandra Payoda Saubhagam Maharha Vaidurya Kirita Kundala Tushap Parishwakta Sahasra Kuntalam Uddama Kanchi Angada Kankanadibhir Virochamanam Vasudeva Aikshata. When Krishna was born out of the womb of Devaki, Vasudeva saw that wonderful child. What did he see? What was the child appearing like? Vasudeva then saw the newborn child who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes. Now this word Adbhutam, wonderful, is described in detail by the Acharyas. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes this. Later on I'll read that. So he had very wonderful lotus-like eyes. Ambujekshanam, Adbhuta Ambujekshanam. Bore in his 4 hands the 4 weapons, Shanka, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Chaturbhujam, Shanka, Gadadi, Udayudham. He was having his 4 hands decorated with the 4 weapons, Shanka, Chakra, Gada, Padma. On his chest was the mark of Srivatsa. This mark is a tuft of hair on the chest. And this is only visible on the chest of the Supreme Lord. Whether when he appears in any form, including the human-like form, in this material world as an incarnation, or in the spiritual world also, this mark of Srivatsa, a tuft of hair on the chest, is unique to the Supreme Lord. On his neck, the brilliant Kaustuba gem. The Kaustuba gem, Prabhupada describes here that it is a gem which is only found in Vaikuntha. It is not found in the material world. Even a replica is not there in the material world to the Kaustuba gem. So the child is decorated with Kaustuba gem on the neck. Dressed in yellow, his body blackish like a dense cloud, his scattered hair fully grown, and his helmet and earrings sparkling uncommonly with the valuable gem Vaidurya, the child, decorated with a brilliant belt, armlets, bangles, and other ornaments, appeared very wonderful. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes what are all the wonderful things about this appearance of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva. The first wonder was that the Lord was not afraid to appear within the prison house of Kamsa, where Vasudeva and Devaki were interned. Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned by Kamsa because there was the foretelling that the eighth child of Devaki would be the cause of Kamsa's death. So, Kamsa had taken all precautions to protect himself. He had already killed Devaki's first 6 children. So, if this child also was like the first 6 children, then how did this child appear as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki if he was afraid of being killed? So here it is described that the Lord, Supreme Lord, is never afraid of anyone. He is always fearless, and he is the source of all fearlessness for his devotees and for everyone else. He is the cause of fear, and he is also the cause of fearlessness. So that is the absolute position of the Lord. So he was not afraid to appear within the prison of Kamsa. Second wonder is, although the Lord, the Supreme Transcendence, is all-pervading, he is present everywhere in the material world, he had appeared from the womb of Devaki. So how did he become localized? How did he enter the womb of Devaki? Because he is all-pervading. He is spread everywhere. So when he spread everywhere, how can he localize himself within that tiny womb of Devaki? So this is a challenge to the Mayavadis. The Mayavadis say, oh, God is all-pervading. He is present everywhere. He cannot be in one place, in a small place. He cannot be there. But the Upanishads say, Mahato Mahiyan Anoraniyan. He is bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. So, bigger than the biggest manifestation is this whole universe in our experience, material experience. So, the universal form is bigger than the universe itself. The universal form. And the form of Paramatma is smaller than the atom. Smaller than the material atom of which this body is made, so many material atoms. Smaller than the spiritual atom, which is a living entity. Because the Lord has entered the heart of every living being. Now he has entered as Paramatma. Now he has entered not only the material atom of which the heart is made, he has also entered the spiritual atom of which we are made. He has entered the heart of this body, and he has also entered the heart of the soul, the spirit soul, the living being. He has entered the spiritual atom. So he is smaller than even the spiritual atom. So therefore, this is the second wonder, that he has appeared from the womb of Devaki. The third wonder is that how could a child take birth from the womb so nicely decorated? The child has to come out from the womb. Generally, the child will be smeared with all the secretions of the mother inside the womb. So how could the child come out fully decorated, beautifully decorated? How could the child come out with all these wonderful ornaments? And the fourth wonder is this Supreme Personality of Godhead, four-handed Lord, was Vasudeva's worshipable deity. All the Yadus were devotees of the Supreme Lord. So in which form would they worship the Lord? In the form of Narayana. They are all Vaishnavas, Vishnu worshippers. They are worshippers of Narayana. So that Narayana, whom Vasudeva worships every day, that Narayana has appeared as my son from within the womb of Devaki, fully decorated, exactly like Narayana. So it's so wonderful. So will Vasudeva have any doubt who is this child? Not at all. He's fully conversant with the Supreme Lord, whom he is worshipping every day in the deity form. That Lord has appeared out of the womb of Devaki. Wonderful, isn't it? So therefore, for all these reasons, Vasudeva was transcendently jubilant and was completely fearless. And he offered wonderful prayers in transcendental ecstasy to the Supreme Lord who had appeared as his son. So therefore, the Lord's appearance is not at all ordinary. Neither the Lord's activities are ordinary, and that we can hear from the 10th canto. All the activities are extraordinary. Janma karma chame divyam is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.